Hey guys, welcome to iSoft Original, and today is another exciting edition for us to construct something up. Okay, so it's been a while. We've been working on this video editing software, video editing app using Flutter and that, and we started building some UIs, and today we're gonna build up this me page. But from our previous video, we saw we had a challenge on from our art project. As soon as we click on this, you see we have this error here. So in this particular video, we're gonna fix this, and also we're just gonna create this me page. That is for today, right? Okay, now before we get started to today's video, from our statistics, we can see that most of our viewers who watch our video have not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet. So please do well to subscribe to my YouTube channel, share the video, like, and leave any comment below the section to help me grow the channel. And also subscribing to this channel is going to help you to get any updates whenever I come online or whenever I upload any exciting video. Until then, let's hop right into today's lesson. So first thing first, let's try to fix up this error right here, this guy. Let's just make sure we fix this guy before we move on to the next thing, right? So now we can see this guy is from the widget, that is the project widget, right? Now that is going to be the that is the create project screen. So you come down here, you see we have an expanded widget here. So let me just rearrange this for you to see. I'll just have to reformat this. So we have an expanded widget here, and that expanded widget is restricting the UI to respond to this, right? So the easiest way to solve this is actually click on the expanded widget, then click on this arrow, then you remove this widget. So that is actually going to remove the expanded widget from your container. And also don't forget to you can remove even the unnecessary container, but I think yeah, we can even remove the unnecessary container, which kind of make it cool because the container is quite not needed. So after that, just save your project and you'll see a lot of changes right there. So that problem is actually fixed, right? So you can just choose within any of them, just type any name you want to type, and you just add up any of them you want to choose, then you just click on create, and that is actually going to work fine. We will be coming there, but I want us to complete the UI first, right? I want us to get to know how the whole UI works. We will try as much as possible to make this app looks great. I mean, all the possible functionalities we need to add, we will try our possible best to add it up to this project. So you have to subscribe to my channel so that you won't be missing any episodes I will be adding sooner or later. Alright, now let's move ahead to today's edition, and that is actually going to be from this me page. So what we're going to do is just go to the me screen, and from the me screen I'm just going to go to the internet. So I'm just going to open up my browser and go to google.com, and I just want to try to get an image, just any image. So I say sunny day, background. I try to do all of these things absolutely from scratch so that you guys will see how I manage to do all these things, because people have been asking me how I manage to do a lot of things like this. So I'm going to show you guys every easy steps, or every single step I pass through before getting to this particular section. So what I'm going to do is actually just use this image. This image is used for educational purpose only. If you think you want to use a different image, please do well to get an image from somewhere, which of course you get a right to use it for commercial purpose, right? Okay, so I have the image inside my downloads folder, so I'll just redirect myself to the downloads. Then I just rename this to BG, just like that, and I'll just copy this. Then I just come up to the assets, then I just paste it in here. So this is a web background, which of course I don't actually need a web background, so I just have to edit it and change the format to JPEG, right? So I'm just going to click on edit, and there you go. I'm going to use the paint to edit this. I don't have time, opening up Adobe Photoshop. I don't have that time, so I'm just going to go to file, save as, and then I just say PNG. So in this case, I'm just going to redirect myself to the desktop, save it right there, just like that. Alright then, so I just go to the desktop, look for my BG, which of course I should be able to get it somewhere here. So where is it? So there you go. I'm actually going to copy this, and I'm just going to go to the assets. So let's just paste it right in here, and now you can see it is a PNG format. I'm actually going to show you every single trick I use developing my apps in my upcoming lessons. So what we're going to do is, from the body, I'm actually going to return we are returning a scaffold instead, and inside this body I'm just going to return a container, and within this container I'm just going to specify, so I'm just going to remove the const here, and I'm just going to specify the height. That is going to be media query dot of context dot size dot height, and with the width also, that is actually going to be the same thing. So just going to say perfect. Now to see if this is being reflected, we just have to add a color to the container. So I'm just going to say colors.red for now. So that is actually going to let me know if the color is being taken place right here. So that looks much great. So I'm just going to add a decoration that is going to be a box decoration, and inside this box decoration I'm just going to remove this color because it's actually going to throw an error if I don't remove the color. Now when I save this, you see I have a blank because I've just removed the color. Now from here I will just say image. The image of this is going to be decoration image, just like this, and inside this decoration image it has a parameter, or it has, how do I say this, it has a required argument, which is an image, right? So just going to add a required argument, and the image is going to be from our asset image, and inside our asset image I'm just going to locate myself to my assets folder. So I'm just going to say assets slash bg.png, just like this, and there you go. I have a very beautiful background image. Alright then, so now to make it looks much more great, I'll just have to say fit, and it's gonna use a widget called the box fit, and I'm just going to use the cover so that it's actually going to cover the whole place, just like this. The cover may be okay for you, and also some people will be willing to use the contain. I'm really trying to take my time to explain this for you to understand. Anyhow, you get the understanding of this. So in my case, I am going to use the cover. Perfect. Now let's try to add some const modifiers here. That looks great. Reformat our code and we are good to go. That looks much more interesting. Now after they hiked, we have a child, and inside this child we're just going to use a column in here. And with a column, what I have here, I actually want to use let's first try to specify some children's here. That is actually going to be a text widget for the first time, and this is actually going to be the kin master. All right, so when I save this sorry guys, so you see the kin master there. Let's try to add a style that is actually going to be a text style, and let's add the font size to be maybe 35. So there you go. So we just have to just increase it a little bit. Let's make it 37 or 37 is quite enough. So, oh come on, you've got to be kidding me. 37 is quite interesting. Now we just have to specify the font weight, so I'm just going to use bold. That looks great, right? Perfect. Now in my case, I can just try to specify the color, so I'm just going to say colors.white for now, and I am good to go. That looks perfect. Okay, so I just have to add the const here to fix everything. Alright then, so before I add this text, I'm actually gonna add a sized box, and this is going to be a height of 20.0 pixels, and that is going to drag this down a little bit, you see. So let's make it something like 70. Okay, that looks much more interesting. So what I'm actually going to do is just try and then add up another text, and that is actually going to be a text from what I see here, that is connect with global video creators, right? So I'm just going to say connect with global video creators, just like this. And I'm just going to specify the style to be a text style, and I'll just set the font size to maybe 20. And also, so there you go, this looks much more amazing. So I can just go ahead and then specify the color. That is going to be the color, so I'm just going to say colors.white. Then there you go, right? Excellent. Okay, now we have to add another size box right here after this text. So I'm just going to reformat this after this text. Let's just paste it right here. Let's come down and let's create a floating action button dot extended, right? So I'm just going to say floating action button dot extended, and the onPress is actually going to be an empty function. The onPress is actually going to be an empty function, and the label actually is going to be create an account, just like this. And okay, so the label actually is going to hold a text widget, and inside this text, that is where we put this, right? So this onPress guy, we have to remove the const up here, so the onPress is actually gonna be fixed, just like that. So we manually have to add a const here, just manually have to add it so that the codes will be clean, right? So you have to go through most of the process so that you can get to know how to add up some things, right? Perfect. That looks perfect. So let's just reformat the code again. So there you go, we have this guy right here, and I can actually wrap this floating action button with a container, and with the width of the container, I'm just actually going to say I'll just say let's make it 300, and that looks perfect, right? So now with the text inside here, let's specify a style that is actually going to be a text style, and inside this text style we're just gonna attribute the font size. I'm just going to use 18 for now to see how it's actually going to appear. That looks much more interesting. Okay, so I'll just have to specify the height of the container, and in my case I'm just going to use 20 pixels to see how it's actually going to work. So 20 is very, very small, so let's make it 70, and I think let's make it 50. Well, 50 looks great. So let's set the back color of this to our base color, right? So when I talk of our base color, I mean we're just going to specify the color from the create project, that is colors.red, and that is actually going to be this color. So I'm just going to go to me screen, then I just paste this guy. Here, undo that. So I'm just going to say colors.red, and that is going to be 700 of strength, and there you go, perfect. All right, now I'm just going to add up just a text, so I'm just going to copy this, right? And after this container, just going to add a sized box, and I'm just going to specify the height to be 10.0 pixels, and I'm just going to paste this guy here, and this text is actually going to be all, just like this. Now we have that all right here. So with this container, I'm actually going to copy this container, and I'm just going to paste this right here, just like this. Let's save this guy, and actually we have another button here, and I will just have to copy this size box and paste it after this text so I can get the spacing right here. Now instead of using the red color, I'm just going to use the white, as I can see from here. Perfect. Now with the text style, I'll just have to specify the color to be colors.white.black, sorry, and that is actually going to appear like that for me. That looks much more interesting, right? So that is actually going to be continue with Google, right? So I'm just going to say continue, continue with Google. That looks interesting. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to wrap this label with a row, right? And this row is actually going to hold an icon, and I'm going to use the font awesome icons.google, just like this. And I'll just specify the color to be colors.red, and I'll just add the strength of 700, just like this. And I have to just remove the const, just like that. And okay, so I just have to, okay, perfect. So there you go. I just have this Google guy here. So what I'm actually going to do is I just have to add up a sized box in here, and I'm just going to specify the width to be 10. Okay, so this looks much more great, right? So it depends on how you want to do it. If you think you have a custom Google font, or let's say Google icon, you can do that. When I talk of Google icon, I have a Picon software here, which of course I can add a Google icon, right? So if you think you want to use a Google icon, I think that is quite enough. So I can just search for Google, and that is actually going to give me, this is what I was really talking about. So I can just drag and drop this into my assets folder and maintain the name Google. And do you know something? I am referring to an icon, so I just return to be a PNG image. Then I just drag and drop this into my assets, just rename this to Google. There you go. So now from here I have this here, so I'll just go to the, instead of returning an icon here as my icon, I'm just gonna return an image just like this, and inside the image I'm just gonna refer to my assets image, and in here I'm just gonna say assets slash google.png, just like this. That is actually gonna bring that guy right here. You see, very big. So in this case I just have to specify the width, which of course I'm going to use 50, and then I specify the height to be 50 as well. So there you go. 50 means it's very, very big, so let's make it 30. Now that looks great. So comparing to the others, you can see it is quite interesting. Quickly, let's fix this const modifiers for everything to be perfect. Let's try to fix this const modifiers so that everything is gonna be quite interesting. This container is actually going to be okay, let's leave this for now. All right. Okay, so now what we're actually going to do right here is just to clone up this container itself. So I'm just going to rearrange this so I can see what I'm doing very clearly. So there you go. So now I have this container right here. I'm just going to copy this container, same thing, but first of all just add a sized box again, and this size box I'm just going to return the height to be let's use 10.0 pixels, and I'll just paste what I copied, a new container here. And now when I save this, it's actually going to be a different one, and I can easily try to give it out a space by increasing the space of the the height of the size box, right? So that is actually going to be this guy right here. So I'm just going to set it up to 20, and now it looks great, right? So let's try to add some const modifiers. Good, that looks much more perfect. So now sorry guys, let's try to add the Apple logo. So I'll just search for the Apple, and I'll just say Mac. So I'll just go in for the black symbol, so just search for black, just like this, and I'll just drag and drop this guy here, and I'll say mac.png. so just save it, minimize this, then let's go back here, just gonna say Mac. That is actually gonna change this to the Mac symbol, and all we're gonna do is continue with Apple. So just gonna return this and change it to Apple, just like this. That looks much more interesting, right guys? So this looks much more interesting. So we have to add 2 more things, then we end for today's edition. So now what we have to add, actually we first of all added a container. So what we're going to do is, from this container I'm actually going to wrap this container. So we have a child of a column here. So inside the column here so what I'm going to do actually is just to try to just want to see if I can use an expanded widget right here, but I think okay, so let's just add up a text. I just want to use a text, and what this text is actually gonna say is, I'm just gonna return a text, and this text is actually going to be something saying that I have read and accept the king master. I just need it for it to be like this. Let's save this guy, and you see it is going to be right next to this. So you just have to take this out from here, sorry, then we come after this container. So that is actually going to be after this, right? Perfect. So we just have to add a size box, and I'm just going to specify the height to be 100.0 pixels. Perfect. So now I just have to set the style to be a text style, and I just set the color to be colors.white, just like this. That looks great. So from here you can see that I think we can even add a lot of things to this, which of course I don't really want to do that right away just now. I don't want to do that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to increase the font a little bit. So I'm just going to say font size, let's make it 18. So it means we can maintain 15 for now. We don't want it to be way big. It's not important to make it way big. So I'm just going to copy this, just copy that and paste it right here. And what I'm going to say is terms of service and privacy policy. And because this text actually gonna be a link to be clicked, I'll just wrap this with on an inkwell or a gesture detector, right? So what I'm gonna do now is just to try to fix the const modifiers first, and I'll just wrap this text with a widget. And with a widget, you can decide to use an inkwell, you can decide to use a gesture detector. In my case, I am going to use a gesture detector, as you can see from here. So I'm going to use the on-tap function, and I'm just going to say print. I'm just going to use the print function. So I'm just going to say print something, and what I'm going to print here is I'm just going to say terms and I'll just say terms of services and privacy policy clicked, right? Yes. So this is what I want to print in my console to see if when I click on this it's actually functioning. Now when I go to my I think it's going to be the logs, right? It's not going to be the logs. I think it's going to be the run, right? Then I click on this, you see, so there you go, terms of services and privacy policy clicked. So what we're going to do actually is we will be creating this page as well, so that it is actually gonna try to open up a page where we can read our terms and services before where the person can actually read the terms and services before continuing, right? So we just have to go down and add one more thing to this, then we end up the video for today. So just gonna add up something like a text here, and we're just gonna say already have an account. So there you go. Okay, so now we have this guy right here. Okay, So now what I'm going to do actually is just to wrap this guy with a row, right? So I'm just going to wrap it up with a row, and I'm just going to add up a new text. So I'm just going to try and remove the const right here. So I'm just going to add a new text right here next to it, and what I'm going to say is sign in with email or anything like that. That is what I can see from my KineMaster software, KineMaster app UI from here. So once I have this, I save this, you see it is right there, right? So just have to style it a little bit by adding it a text style to this. And let's first work on the color only. Perfect. So I just copy this style, then I just paste it up right here. Perfect. So there you go, we have these two white guys, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say the main axis alignment. I'm just going to say main axis alignment dot center, so that it's actually going to center in the middle. Perfect. Now I have to add up a size box. Copy this size box, come down here after the row, just paste it right here. Let's set it up to 50. Perfect. But you can just set it up to 40 depending on how you want it to be. So in my case, I'm actually just going to increase the font size. So I'm just going to say font size to be 15. I can even make it 18 or anything like that. Perfect. Then I just copy this same font size, then I just paste it out right here. Okay, now I just have to wrap up this guy with, so let me just decrease this to be 30, so it will just get off this guy. Okay, so now I just have to wrap up this guy with a gesture detector, and what do we have here? So I just have to remove the const from here. So from the gesture detector, I just have to try to add up the on tab function, and as usual I'm actually going to say it should be able to print out something, and what it's actually going to print is going to be something like just say sign. Okay, so I'm just going to say sign in with Google clicked. All right, so just have to add up the const to these, and this as the last one. Perfect. So this is what we have done at the end of the day, and I really love this, right? So now when you go to here, we have this. Come here, we have this. Come here, we have this search mix. We're going to do that, and this screen also is going to be in another video. Okay, so now here too we can add our functionalities. That is actually going to be the on press for this guy. We have the on press already there, so it is quite clickable, and it is very, very interesting right there. All right, thank you very much for joining me on this particular series. I am willing and hoping to do more on this particular series we are working on. But before we go, there is one thing I want you to do for me. Please, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do well to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you won't be missing any upcoming episode. You just have to click on the red button which has a text called the subscribe. Just click on that button, and also try to click on the notification bell icon to get notified anytime we upload any exciting videos. Also, I will be updating the source code on my Patreon page, so the link will be in the description. If you want to get the source code of this, until where we are now, you will get it. Until then, we meet again. Have a nice day, and Microsoft Original is out. Thank you very much.